So in the last class we will discuss about the stereochemical aspects of the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So before going to the nucleophilic substitution, that is the stereochemistry of the nucleophilic substitution reaction, we need to understand some of the terms, that is what is chirality, what is meant by chiral molecule, and what is meant by chiral carbon, and what is meant by asymmetric molecule, and what are enantiomers, and what are racemic mixture. So in the last class we discussed about the chiral molecule. The chiral molecule nothing but what? The molecule which containing the, if it is containing the chiral carbon. Chiral carbon nothing but what? The carbon atom is bonded to 4 different groups. In a molecule, if the carbon atom, if it is bonded to 4 different groups, so that carbon we call as what? Chiral carbon, and the molecule is called chiral molecule, or it is also called what? Asymmetric molecule. Why it is called asymmetric molecule? Because it has no plane of symmetry. So when the carbon is bonded to 4 different groups, then the molecule become asymmetric due to lack of plane of symmetry. So when you consider this asymmetric molecule, when you take the mirror image of this molecule, so that mirror image which having the non-superimposable on the original molecule, so that type of para molecule, the pair of optically active molecule which having the non-superimposable mirror images, that type of molecules are called what? Enantiomers. This one marking is very important. What are enantiomers means what? Enantiomers means they are the optically active isomers which having the non-superimposable mirror images. They are called what? Enantiomers. So the conversion of these enantiomers into racemic mixture we call as what? Racemization. Then what is meant by racemic mixture? Racemic mixture means when you take the optically active molecule, that is the enantiomer, pair of enantiomer, the one molecule rotate the plane polarized light to the right side, another one rotate to the left side. If you take the equal amount of these two molecules, then the net effect is 0. Then that solution which contains the equal amount of that is these isomer will not show any optical activity. So that solution or that mixture we call as what? Racemic mixture. So what are racemic mixture? Equimolar mixture of D and L isomers are called what? Racemic mixture. Now we will see. So when we get a retention of the configuration, when we will get a inversion of configuration, and when we will get a racemic mixture. What is meant by retention? For example, we just consider a general molecule. This is the carbon, so which is bonded to, for example, hydrogen and Y. The Y nothing but what? It is a leaving group, and another group, let it be C2H5, ethyl group CH3. This is the 3-dimensional representation of the molecule. Now this carbon is bonded to 4 different groups. So this carbon is what? Chiral in nature. So it shows the optical activity. It is optically active molecule. So when you add a nucleophile X to this reaction, the nucleophile replaces this Y and you get a product carbon, hydrogen, and here ethyl molecule, ethyl group which is present below the plane, and methyl which is present above the plane, and this Y is actually replaced by X. So just see the configuration. The product have the similar configuration as that of the reactant. So this type of retaining the configuration we call as what? A retention of configuration, whereas the molecule A. So when the nucleophile attack the chiral carbon, that is the chiral center or stereogenic center by the nucleophile X, if we get the product carbon, hydrogen, C2H5, CH3 and X. So it is here we will get a product in the product, the configuration is completely get inverted. Completely get inverted. This we call as what? Inversion. So this is product B. During the nucleophilic substitution reaction, if you get a product which having a configuration similar to the reactant, then we say it is a retention of configuration. In a nucleophilic substitution reaction, if you get a product which is completely invert, that is there is an inversion of configuration, that is called what? Inversion. Here the product which having the configuration, so the configuration completely get inverted. During the nucleophilic substitution reaction, if you get a product, both A and B, so A is 50% and B is 50%, that we call as what? Racemization. Racemization, and this mixture we call as what? Racemic mixture. Racemic mixture. Okay, so this is about what is that? How we will explain retention, inversion, and racemization. Retention nothing but what? The product and reactant both having a similar configuration. Inversion means the product configuration get inverted when compared to the configuration of the reactant. So racemization nothing but what? So if you get a 50% inverted product, 50% retention product, so that mixture we call as a racemic mixture, and the phenomena, the process we call as a racemization. Racemization is what? This is also optically active, and this solution contain the two products which are also optically active, both having the same molecular formula. What is the difference? There is a difference in the configuration. That mixture we call as a racemic mixture. This is actually enantiomer. So it is an optically active substance that is converted into what? Racemic mixture. That process we call as what? Racemization. So we can explain this retention, inversion, and racemization by taking a particular example. So in a given nucleophilic substitution reaction, if you want to carry out this retention process, if there is no bond broken at the chiral center or at the chiral carbon hatra ಯಾವ bond break ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so then the configuration will not change. So that can be explained by taking a simple example. So just consider this example. CH3, so this is hydrogen, this means C6H13. So it is a 2-bromo octane. So minus, here minus indicates what? This molecule is optically active because this carbon is chiral carbon and the molecule is chiral molecule. The negative sign indicates what? This molecule rotates the plane polarized light to the left side. It is a levo rotator, that is indicated by negative sign. So you just consider this. C2, H5, H. It is 1, 2, 3, methyl, pentane, 1, 3 methyl, pent 1. So when you react with thionyl chloride, SO2, you know that what is the product? The product is CH3, CH, C2, H5, and here we get chlorine plus HCl, H4. So now it is 1 chloro, 3 methyl, 20. You see the reactant and product. In the reactant and product, there is no change in the configuration of the chiral carbon. So it follows actually. So it is a retention of configuration. Retention of configuration. There is no change in the configuration of the chiral carbon. So if you take the other example, so when the configuration gets inverted, so the stereochemistry, when you consider the stereochemistry of nucleophilic substitution reaction. Stereochemistry of nucleophilic substitution reaction. So here we know that two types of nucleophilic substitution reactions are there. One is the SN1 reaction, another one is SN2 reaction. You know that during the SN2 reaction, the configuration gets inverted, that is inversion of configuration takes place. But in SN1 reaction, there is a formation of racemic mixture, that is the racemization. That we can explain. If for example, if you are given alkyl halide CH3, just consider C, hydrogen and C6H13, just consider here bromine. So it is what? 2 bromo octane. So it is minus. So when it is attacked by the nucleophile OH minus, this nucleophile attack this carbon. So it follow the SN2 mechanism. Then we get a product CH3 carbon OH hydrogen and C6H13 negative plus octane 2 plus octane 2. This is the inversion of configuration. Here this nucleophilic substitution reaction and SN2 mechanism. So in SN2 mechanism we know that there is an inversion of configuration take place. That means what is the conclusion? In SN2 reactions there is a inversion of configuration. There is an inversion of configuration. So we will see what will be the stereochemistry in case of what? SN1 reaction. That can be explained by considering a very simple molecule, that is 2-bromobutane. So if you take the 2-bromobutane, so CH3 carbon hydrogen, so it is ethyl C2H5 and this is bromine. This is 2-bromobutane. 2-bromobutane. You know that when it follows the SN1 mechanism, so in the first step, so there is ionization and it produces a carbocation, carbon, CH3, hydrogen, here we are C2H5. You get carbocation. It is a planar carbocation. So what is the hybridization? sp2 hybridized. So this is sp2 hybridized. This carbon is sp2 hybridized. So it is a planar molecule. That means if it is sp2 hybridized, this carbon contain one vacant p orbital that can be represented as, so this is carbon, here just take CH3 and hydrogen C2H5. This carbon 1 unhybridized p orbital. This unhybridized p orbital is present below and above the plane. All these four group, that is this carbon is at the center, C2H5 here and hydrogen is here and CH3 is here. So this is the planar molecule. So when your nucleophile, the nucleophile can attack from either side of the plane. If the nucleophile OH minus attack from this plane, so when the nucleophile attack from this plane, so we get a molecule like this. This is the product. This is hydrogen. This is C2H5, and here we get a OH. So it is butane 2R, so which having the minus, that is levorotatory substance. So here this configuration is similar to the reactant. There is another possibility, that is OH minus, if it is attacked from the lower plane, that is below the plane, so then we will get a product CH3 hydrogen C2H5 and OH. It is plus butane 2R. Okay, there is a inversion of configuration. That means, so we get a what? A racemization. So in which case the racemization takes place? In case of SN1 reaction, racemization takes place. What is the main reason why the racemization takes place? Because in the first step, that is slow step, there is a formation of carbocation. The carbocation is planar molecule. The nucleophile can attack either from the upper plane or from the lower plane. When it is attacked from the upper plane, we get a configuration very similar to your starting material, that is the reactant. When it is attacked from the bottom of the molecule, then we will get an inverted configuration. So we get a 50% of this isomer and 50% of this isomer. So that's why it form a what? Racemic mixture, and the phenomenon we call as what? Racemization. You should remember, during the SN2 reaction, there is an inversion of configuration take place. During the SN1 reaction, there is a formation of what? Racemic mixture or racemization. This is a very important concept. So why the racemization takes place in case of what? SN1 reaction? It is due to the formation of planar carbocation, that is sp2 hydride planar carbocation. The nucleophile can attack from above the plane or from the below the plane. That's why we get a what? Racemization. This is about stereochemical aspects of the nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay. So next we will move to the dehydrohalogenation or beta elimination reaction. The next concept is beta elimination reaction. So before going to this beta elimination reaction or dehydrohalogenation, first you have to know what is meant by beta elimination. What is the next concept? Beta elimination reaction, beta elimination reaction, or it is also called dehydrohalogenation reaction. First we will see what is meant by beta hydrogen. So when you consider alkyl halide, generally we represent. So this is the halogen which is bonded to sp3 hybridized carbon atom. Around the carbon we have 4 single bond. The next carbon, the halogen containing carbon we call as a alpha carbon. The next carbon we call as what? Beta carbon. If your beta carbon, if it is contain hydrogen, this hydrogen is called what? Beta hydrogen. Beta hydrogen. What is beta hydrogen? The hydrogen present in the beta carbon. Beta carbon means next to the alpha carbon. Alpha carbon nothing but what? Halogen bonded carbon we call as a alpha carbon. Next carbon we call as a beta carbon. If the hydrogen atom attached to this beta carbon we call as a what? Beta hydrogen. To this alkyl halide which containing the beta hydrogen, if you add a base, this base abstract this proton. So it form a minus, that is it will abstract the proton and it form a BH and we get a carbon ion, carbon, here we get a negative charge, single bond, carbon, single bond X. This negative charge is moved between these two carbon. So then this is the leaving group. This halogen is eliminated from the reaction mixture. Get a product carbon. So here you get a double bond, here you get a double bond, you get a what? Alkene is the product and here X minus, that is the leaving group. So in this reaction the hydrogen and halogen both are eliminated. That's why to remove some of the atom or group of atom from the substrate molecule we call as our D. Hydro means hydrogen, halo means halogen. That's why it is called what? Dehydrohalogenation. D means nothing but what? Removing. Hydro means hydrogen, halo means halo. So that halogen. So if you remove hydrogen and halogen from the alkyl halide, we call as what? Dehydrohalogenation reaction or beta elimination reaction. From the beta carbon, you will eliminate the hydrogen. That's why it is called what? Beta elimination reaction. So if the reaction want to occur, the beta elimination reaction, what is the minimum condition? The alkyl halide should contain the beta carbon, beta hydrogen that is abstracted by the base and you get a product as alkene. For example, if you take the particular example, I will consider the very simple example. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is, it is a pentane. At the second carbon atom, it contains the bromine. So it is a 2-bromopentane. So here the bromine containing carbon is called what? Alpha carbon. The next carbon is called what? Beta carbon. And this carbon is also beta carbon. In this alkyl halide we have 2 beta carbon. So in this beta carbon we have 2 hydrogen. In this beta carbon we have 3 hydrogen. That means when you add a base to this alkyl halide, there is 2 possibilities. The first possibility is when you add a base OH minus, it abstracts this proton, and this electrons moves here and the bromine is eliminated, and from between this first and second carbon you will get a double bond. So that can be represented as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Between these two you will get a double bond. It is a what? What is the name? Pent. At the first carbon you have the double bond, pent 1ene. So the product, what is the percentage? It is only about 19%. The same base, HO minus. So if it is subtract the proton from this beta carbon, so then this electrons moves here and the bromine is eliminated. Now we get a double bond between what? Second carbon and third carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we get a double bond here. So it is a what? Pent 2ene. Here the percentage is 81%. So So we get a mixture of product. The one product is less percentage, another product is more percentage. So that's why in dehydroalgenation says the Freeman rule. That is called what? Says the rule. Says the rule. What is the rule? States that in a dehydroalgenation reaction, the preferable product is alkene which containing the more number of branches or more number of substituted. So more number of substituted alkene is the major product, less number of substituted product is the minor product. So that is that rule we call as what? Says rule. What is the Says rule? States that in a beta halogenation reaction or the dehydroalgenation reaction, the preferable product is always alkene containing more branches. Okay, that rule we call as what? Says rule. So this reaction can be explained by taking another example. For example, if you take a product, if you take the reactant, this reactant, for example. So if you add a base like OH minus, we get a two product. One is this one and another one is this one. So just guess which may be the major product and which may be the minor product. According to says the rule, what is the statement? In a dehydroalgenation reaction, we will get a alkene which having highly branched or more substituted alkene is the major product. When you consider this alkene, it is a tri-substituted. So it is a tri-substituted, it is a major product. Here it is a di-substituted, it is what? Minor product. It is a major product and this is the minor product. So this is about dehydroalgenation reaction or beta elimination reaction. Okay. So the next property, how this alkyl halide reacts with the metals. Okay. Next is reaction with the metals. This says rule is very important and beta elimination they will always ask for 2 mark. So 2 mark if you have ಕೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ 2 bromo and is the example. Okay, next is reaction with metal. Reaction with metal. The first one is formation of Grignard reagent. The formation of Grignard reagent. How the Grignard reagent is formed? What is meant by Grignard reagent? Grignard reagent means alkyl magnesium halide. Alkyl magnesium halide. Alkyl magnesium halide we call as what? Grignard reagent. What is Grignard reagent? Alkyl magnesium halide. Here there is a formation of bonding between carbon and metal. So if in any molecule, if you have the bonding between metal and the carbon, so such type of compounds we call as a organometallic compounds. Organometallic compounds nothing but what? If your organic molecule, that is carbon, if it is form a bond with the metal, they are called what? Organometallic compound. For example, how to prepare this organometallic compound? That can be explained by taking a very simple example. Here I have taken a alkyl halide. So when this alkyl halide reacts with the magnesium metal, we know that magnesium has the valency 2. So now this reaction is carried out in dry ether. So we get a product or MgX. This we call as what? This we call as a alkyl magnesium halide, or it is also called what? Grignard reagent. So if you take the particular example, you just take C2H5Br that is ethyl bromide. So when this ethyl bromide reacts with magnesium metal in dry ether, we get a C2H5MgBr, that is ethyl magnesium bromide. Ethyl magnesium bromide. So this is one of the example for Grignard reagent, ethyl magnesium bromide, that can be prepared by reacting ethyl bromide with magnesium metal in dry ether. We get what? Ethyl magnesium bromide. So if any protic substance, protic solvent, or if you have any moisture of water or alcohol present, then this Grignard reagent absorbs the proton and it is converted into corresponding hydrocarbon. For example, see here. So if you have C2H5MgBr, if some moisture is present, it abstracts the proton and it forms C2H6 and form a magnesium HO. Yeah, that is we get what? Ethane. So we get a ethane. That's why you should carry out this Grignard reagent only in dry by using the inert solvent like dry ether. So if any some moisture or other protic substance is present, then it abstracts the proton and it will give a corresponding hydrocarbon. So this is about formation of Grignard reagent from the alkyl halide. The second reaction is very important reaction, that is Hoods reaction. Hoods reaction. What is Hoods reaction? Hoods reaction means it is a formation of hydrocarbon. It is a formation of hydrocarbon or it is a formation of inorganic. So by reacting alkyl halide with sodium metal in dry ether, we get a hydrocarbon and sodium halide. We get a hydrocarbon. This reaction is called what? Hoods reaction. One marking part A nalli ಅಥವಾ part D nalli ಕೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Just remember, so when alkyl halide is react with sodium metal in dry ether, we get what? Hydrocarbon. This reaction is called what? Hoods reaction. So this is about reactions of halocane or alkyl halide. So next we will start the what are the reactions of halogens. Okay, next is the reactions of halogens. So you know that what is meant by halogens or aryl halide. In case of halogens, the halogen is directly bonded to the benzene ring. So next is the reactions of halogen. The first type of reaction is nucleophilic substitution reactions. Nucleophilic substitution reactions of halogens. So unlike, you know that alkyl halide easily undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction, that nucleophilic substitution reaction can be explained by two mechanisms, SN1 mechanism and SN2 mechanism. But this aryl halide or halogen, they are less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay, so aryl halides or halogens are less reactive towards towards nucleophilic substitution, reaction. So what may be the reason? What are the reasons why the aryl halides are less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction? The first reason is resonance effect. What is the first reason? Resonance effect. So we'll see how this resonance effect will decreases the reactivity of aryl halide toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. We just take the general representation of aryl halides. General representation of aryl halide. This is the aryl group. To this halogen is bonded, and you know that on the halogen atom 3 lone pair of electrons are there. Now the pi electrons of the benzene ring is in conjugate with the lone pair electron on the halogen atom. Yes, this lone pair electron moves here, so this pi electron moves over the ortho position. So then you get a resonance structure. So between the carbon and halogen you get a double bond, and halogen get positive charge. At ortho position you get a negative charge. Again this negative charge moves here, this pi electron move to the para position, we get another resonance structure. Double bond, X positive charge, you get a double bond, here you get a negative charge at the para position. Again this electron move to this position, this pi electron move over the ortho position. So now we get a other resonance structure, that is here you get a double bond, here you get a negative charge, here positive charge. This moves here, again this electron move over the halogen atom. If you see this resonance structure, so here there is a formation of partial double bond between the halogen and carbon. When the double bond formed between halogen and carbon, so the bond become very short and it become very strong, due to which nucleophile cannot break this bond. So that's why this is the one of the reason the resonance effect leads to less reactivity of the aryl halide toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. What will be the second reason? Why the aryl halides are less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction? The second reason is different in hybridization of carbon halogen bond. Difference in hybridization of carbon halogen bond. How it is different? For example, if you take a aryl halide, here halogen is bonded to sp2 hybridized carbon, but in case of alkyl halide, halogen is bonded to sp3 hybridized carbon. So hence here due to sp2 hybridized carbon, the halogen is bonded to sp2 hybridized carbon, the bond length becomes short. As the bond length becomes short, the bond becomes very strong. But in case of alkyl halide, it is bonded to sp3 hybridized carbon atom, the bond length is somehow more when compared to aryl halide carbon halogen bond. Hence, so due to difference in their hybridization of the carbon halogen bond, so the aryl halide less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. The third reason is due to instability of phenyl carbocation. If you want to explain, let us assume the phenyl, that is aryl halide, if it has a SN1 reaction. What is the main condition for SN1 reaction? The formed carbocation. The formed carbocation should be more stable. But here, the formed phenyl carbocation is highly unstable. Why it is highly unstable? Because phenyl carbocation itself it is unstable because that carbocation is not stabilized by resonance. The second reason is the positive charge is present on the sp2 hybridized carbon. The positive charge present on the sp2 hybridized carbon that will destabilize the carbocation. That's why the phenyl carbocation is very unstable. So SN1 reaction does not occur. The last reason is, you know that benzene is also electron rich. Aryl group is electron rich, which will repel the nucleophile, because nucleophile is also electron rich. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ nucleophile electron rich ಇದೆ and aryl group is also electron rich. When the nucleophile approaches the aryl group, what happens? They repel with each other because both are electron rich compounds. These are the four reasons why the aryl halide they are less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. What is the first reason? The resonance effect. So how do you explain the resonance effect which will make the aryl halide less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction? Because in case of resonance effect, the bond between the halogen and carbon is partially double bond. So that due to double bond character, the nucleophile has no sufficient energy to break this bond. What is the second reason? Due to difference in the hybridization. So here the halogen is bonded to sp2 hybridized carbon atom in aryl halide. The bond become bond and they short and bond length always more. And third reason is instability of the phenyl carbocation, because if the phenyl carbocation is formed, it is not stabilized by resonance and the positive charge present on the sp2 hybridized carbon atom, hence SN1 reaction does not occur due to instability of the phenyl carbocation. And aryl group is electron rich and nucleophile is also electron rich. When the nucleophile approaches the aryl halide, they repel each other. That's why the aryl halide they are less reactive toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. But if some of the electron withdrawing group is present on the aryl group, that will make that aryl halide to undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction. That we will explain, or that we will see by taking a particular example. So some of the even though aryl halides are less reactive, it shows some of the nucleophilic substitution reaction. We will see one by one and we will see what is the effect of electron withdrawing group on the nucleophilic substitution reactions of aryl halide. So for example, if you take aryl halide, for example, we will just take the particular example. So this is fluorobenzene. So when it is treated with sodium hydroxide, here you have to maintain very high temperature, about 623 Kelvin temperature, 300 atmospheric pressure, followed by acidification. So we will get a product which that is phenol. Here we maintain a very drastic condition, 623 Kelvin temperature and 300 atmospheric pressure. The same aryl halide will carry out the reaction. So by substituting electron withdrawing group, that is the nitro group. So here the reagent is in NaOH, but the temperature is reduced to 443 Kelvin temperature, followed by acid hydrolysis. So we get a orthonitrophenol. We get OH, NO2. So if we increase the number of electron withdrawing, here nitro group, this NO2 group is a what? It is a electron withdrawing group increases the reactivity of aryl halide toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction. If you substitute nitro group at orthon para position, so then just react with any OH at even lower temperature, 368 Kelvin temperature, followed by hydrolysis, we get a product OH NO2. Okay, so if you substitute electron withdrawing group at all position, that is at all ortho and para position, you substitute nitro group on ortho and para position. So then, if you treat with just warm water, if you what? Here, NO2. See the reaction conditions, how it will change from just warm water to very high temperature, 623 and 300 atmospheric pressure. So when there is no electron withdrawing group substituted into phenyl ring, what happens? We need to maintain very high pressure and high temperature. When you start the substituting electron withdrawing group at ortho and para position, so what happens simultaneously? The reaction condition it decreases from 623 to 443, 443 to 368. Finally, if you substitute electron withdrawing group at all ortho and para position, just treat it with warm water. So the warm water itself it provides the nucleophile. So the nucleophile substitute the halogen. This is the effect of electron withdrawing group on the what? Increasing the nucleophilic substitution reaction. That can be explained by taking the mechanism. I will try to write the mechanism for any one isomer. You try to write the mechanism for other isomer. So for example, if the electron withdrawing group present at the para position, how it will affect the increases the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So here already we know that while writing the resonance structure of aryl halide, usually the electron density is more at the ortho and para position. For example, just take this is the benzene, this is argon, for example, chlorine. Let us see the nitro group is at the para position. It is a para isomer. So now the nucleophile OH minus attract this carbon, this pi electron moves for the ortho position. So this step is very slow step and we get the product So here OH, here Cl, the negative charge at the ortho position. This is the molecule. Again, this negative charge is stabilized by resonance. When this negative charge moves here, this pi electron moves the para position. We get another resonance structure OH, Cl. So here we get a negative charge, here we get double bond. This pi electron moves here, this pi electron moves the top position. We get a molecule. So here we get a negative charge, here we get a double bond, OH, Cl. When this pi electron moves here, the chlorine is the leading group. This is fast step and we get a product. Just write the electron withdrawing group, para position. Mo2 so OH plus Cl minus. You just see here while writing the resonance structure. While writing the resonance structure, the negative charge concentrated at ortho position or at para position or at ortho position. If you have the electron withdrawing group, at the para position or ortho position, this molecule is more stabilized, it is more resonance stabilized, and the molecule is more stable, as it will favor the nucleophilic substitution reaction. This is for what? Para isomer. You just try to write the ortho isomer and meta isomer. Here at the meta position, you will not get a negative charge. Hence, if you have the electron withdrawing group at meta position, it will not increase the that is the rate of reaction toward the nucleophilic substitution reaction when compared to ortho and para isomer. Nothing but what? Among the ortho, para and meta isomer, para isomers, it will increases the reactivity of the nucleophilic substitution reaction of aryl halide when compared to the ortho and meta. When you compare the ortho and meta, ortho compound is more reactive. When compared to the ortho and meta, ortho is more reactive and the meta is less reactive. Why the meta is less reactive? Because at the meta position, you will not get the electron density. Electron load more concentrated at ortho and para position. That's why if you have the electron withdrawing group at ortho and para position, that will increases the reactivity. Okay, this much is about nucleophilic substitution reactions of the aryl halide. In the next class, we will discuss the electrophilic substitution reactions of aryl halide and some of the important uses of polyhalogen compound. Polyhalogen compound means the haloalkanes or haloarenes which contain more than one halogen. So, that what is the uses of polyhalogen compound? What are those polyhalogen compound? What are their important uses? That we will discuss in the next class.